All right, so I've been using the Sony A7IV for a few months now. I've used it on interviews, done some documentary work, social media ads, like you name it. I'm taking pictures with it. But today we're gonna discuss my dislikes about this camera because there's few, and I really can't recommend this camera to another person, another videographer, to be honest. Was it videographer, geographer, photographer, videographer? Another cinematographer. I can't get that word out. Jesus Christ. Now, for me, out the gate, overheating is a pretty big deal. We're gonna go ahead and make it the number one starting point right there. So I was doing a documentary, right? Just gonna give you an example. I was doing a documentary, and I'm using the A7S3 and the A7IV. Now, I wanted it to have unlimited battery power, so I made sure I put power banks essentially in my pocket, and it just plugged directly into the camera. Now, my A7S3 ran the entire time, no single problems, no overheating issues, and we were shooting for about, I'd say like over an hour and a half. And face tracking, eye tracking, all that was on, I get that. But the A7IV overheated on me twice. My assistant had to start recording on that one camera, so then I have to kind of cover both sides from one camera until that camera cooled back down. But then again, like I said, it overheated again. So if you are doing professional work with long format recording, I definitely can't recommend it for that. Now we got the first big issue out the way. This is something like kind of minor, but nonetheless, it's still an issue to me. Some people are a fan of it, but I'm not a big fan of it, and that's this dial right here, right? So this dial is not that, it's just not that good to me. The implementation of it is flawed, because like if you are trying to like switch dials from video to movie or S&Q, like you're gonna find yourself like missing or slipping from one side all the way to the next. It's very hard to get into video, which is like right in the middle. So in my opinion, what I think they should have done was, I think they should have put the S&Q in place of the video, so that way photo and video could be on like the ends of both, versus you trying to hit video in the middle. It just makes it more hard, and it's just like, depending on what type of production you're doing or what type of event that you're covering, to go from photo to video, man, it's just like, it's annoying. Number 3 on my list about the Sony A7IV that I'm not particularly a fan of, honestly, is the display. Listen, man, this display is butt. I'm not gonna lie to y'all, man. Like I'm sitting here, like sometimes I'm looking, I'm like, man, is this in focus, or is just my screen so blurry that I can't really tell because it's so soft? Like the display on here, man, it should definitely be more like higher resolution. It should definitely be a higher resolution. And my issue with that is, like, Sony, you make mobile phones, which is some of the best displays, you know what I'm saying, out there. Obviously they're nowhere close to Samsung, but I know you can give me a higher resolution screen than this on my thousands of dollar camera that I'm using for professional work. Number 4, and this is coming from an A7S3, and I'm showing you examples. The 1080p is still soft on this camera, and it's like, bro, like here's the issue that I have with that. It's like the corners you're cutting just to make sure it doesn't compete so hard with the A7S3 is just dumb at this point. It's just like some of the stuff that you all decided to swap out, or like, you know what I'm saying, not to put in, it doesn't make any sense to me. And it'd be stuff like, you know, me still having 1080p, soft 1080p, which was a problem with the A7 III, and now it's still on the A7IV and it's got a 10 bin. It's just like, come on, B. Speaking of 1080p still being soft, there's no 1080p 120 frames per second 10-bit with audio. You can do it in S&Q, but you can't do it with audio. So the only high recording frame rates that you have really is 1080p 60 and then 4K 60, obviously with audio. But 1080p 120 10-bit, no audio. Petty. You see what I'm saying? Like, again, why cut that corner just to make sure it doesn't compete with the A7S3? Like, you know what I'm saying? Again, make it make sense. We kind of like running the theme here already. Now, my last issue with this camera is actually going to have to deal with the shutter. My issue with the shutter is that sometimes, I guess, I mean, and this could be updated, like, this could be a simple fix from a firmware, honestly. Like, if they send out a firmware update, this could fix this, like, with no problem. But then again, like, Sony, can you push out some firmware updates, maybe to, like, the A7S3, A1, hell, even still the A7IV? Like, y'all been kind of lacking in that department. Y'all just keep making cameras that are just good enough and then lacking, like, in the firmware side. Like, nah, B, if you at least want to keep up with the competition, at least hook us up with some more features in the cameras that we already have out here. But sometimes with the shutter, it's like when you turn it off, like you'll get this message on the screen. I wish I had an example. I just keep getting recorded on my phone. But you'll get a message on your screen like, you know, don't change the lens until the shutter is closed or something like that. And the thing is, like, the shutter just never closes. So what happened is you'll turn your camera on, turn it off, and instead of do it, the only way to get rid of that, you have to take the battery out and pop it back in. And it's just like, that's annoying. So that's a major, I mean, that's not like a major gripe. Again, it's something I'm gonna be fixing and farming with, but again, it's still a problem that I'm having with a camera that I paid thousands of dollars for. So, thousands of dollars for. Thousands of dollars for, Jesus Christ. If you have a Sony A7IV, let me know the type of issues that you having, or like something that's irritating you down in the comment section below. Maybe I missed something, or maybe you all have simple fixes for what I have issue with. I doubt it. But nonetheless, I still want to hear from y'all down in the comments box, man. It's your boy Sean Brooks, and I'm out. Deuces.